A black man wore different kinds of clothing to see if people treated him differently. What's up, y'all? I'm Pedro. I'm 24, and like many black men, I'm extremely careful about what I choose to wear. Every day, we're dressing for survival, and basically what it said is he did an experiment where I must perform the same activities in both weeks. While dressing up, my shirt must be tucked in. I must wear a tie or a blazer. While dressed down, outfits I wear must be something I can comfortably sleep in. I will not expose my tattoos. I will not change my typical behaviors or act differently than I normally would. That's how he went around the first day, and this is what he said. My thoughts while I dressed up. I felt pretentious. This brother was dressed this way. And he said he felt, listen what he said now. I felt pretentious, uncomfortable, and embarrassed, especially in the blazer. That's a damn shame. That black men have our images dropped so much to where men coming out of the house dressed like a man feels uncomfortable, embarrassed, pretentious. Because we no longer associate our image with anything other than something you can sleep in and roll out of your bed. That's on us. I softened my walk to mute the piercing click-clack of my shoes. My belt had to constantly be adjusted on top of it, and these pants were giving me a wedgie. In other words, them dress shoes, them hard shoes, when I say pull up, get rid of the Jordans, and pull up your pants and get rid of the Jordans, that's what this man is talking about. He felt uncomfortable dressing in the uniform of business. Why? What are his experiences? A woman who worked at 7-Eleven greeted me with a smile and instantly asked, "What's this for? A meeting or interview?" But she normally say meeting, interview, or court. He said, "It's for work," I said. As I grabbed my change for the bus, she raised her eyebrow and nodded her head. This was in the first 10 minutes of my day. I thought, damn, this is going to be an eventful few weeks. My bus pass didn't have enough money on it, but before I could even get the change I got from 7-Eleven, the driver said, "Come on, it's okay." That's pretty tight. I got to save my change. At lunch, I headed to BLD, an upscale spot for lunch. The service was cool. The service seated me in the front of the restaurant where I received my order ahead of two other guys that were before me. I walked over to Chase Bank. The security guard not only opened the door for me, but also gave me a heads up about signing a waiting list to be assisted by a teller. On my way out, I asked him where ATM was, and he chased me down to inform me about available parking, assuming I drove, but I walked. Pretty damn decent treatment, if I'm saying. But then he dressed this way, to where he felt more comfortable. I felt much more comfortable with my hoodie and sweats. I don't have to worry about the click-clack of my dress shoes. Experience, I saw the same woman in 7-Eleven. She only asked me if I wanted a receipt. No smile, no conversation, just business. My bus pass, again, didn't have money on it, but the bus driver would not move until I put in my change. Went to the same place for lunch. I was greeted by the same server. This time, they looked toward the back of the restaurant for a place to seat me. He ended up seating me next to the cash register. I received my food fairly fast, and he asked me if I needed hot sauce. I caught him looking at me through his peripheral during my meal. At Chase, the same security guard only greeted me with a head nod. Nobody assisted me and walked in. After sitting there for several minutes, I remembered about the sign-in list. The teller who helped me last week was talking to a client. And while this teller who greeted me last week was walking the client out, and after passing me a couple of times, she finally approached me. What's the problem here? The problem is in our minds, in this young man's mind, dressing like a man makes you wrong. He was comfortable dressing like a boy. And I'm going to say it's a boy. I just took off joggers that I had on earlier today, but it's still not what men wear. Not taking care of business. But we have been convinced to take our own image so lightly that we don't even value the way we walk out of the house. So don't be surprised when somebody who looks like you can play with your image. That's why you can have somebody call that man, don't judge him because this people's crazy. That's why we can do it, because we don't value each other's image. I told you I might not be going where you think I'm going with this. Image as power, and it is time out for it. My opinion is black men, we need to start calling out black men who play with the image of other black men. Calling them crazy, calling them thugs, calling them criminals when they don't have any of these records. Calling them betas, calling them gay, all this other stuff. Dr. Tommy Curry, man not. Are we not men? Just because the man may not walk like you, talk like you, groove like you, does he not deserve the same respect you demand for yourself? And if you think you got a problem with him, give him a damn phone call. Speak to a man before getting online talking about a man. Because that's what we have witnessed. People getting online trashing a man's image as if that was not a man. People have been asking me what I thought about the things that have been going on, and I'm sitting back and I'm saying it's about time. It's about time we start talking about how we depict ourselves in media, how we choose to show up in media.